Hello again. Welcome to another Green Dragons Gaming Club. Without us, they'd never feel like winners. Without them, we couldn't look so good. So again, this is Mark. You can Sir MC 2015. You can find me on the 9th H boards. Is that if you want to send me a message, or again, please post a comment to the YouTube videos. And joining me today was actually my opponent Ryan, who is an extremely good player and is playing the well, you'll see in just a moment. So
hey guys.
Sorry. So Ryan, say hi to everybody. So today we have Knights of Equitaine versus the Vampire Covenant. I don't know what this pic's from. I actually like this picture.
Yeah, it's pretty nice actually.
All right, so here's my army. We're going to go through the armies, and I'm going to apologize in advance because apparently I forgot to take pics of the movement phase after the movement was all done, and I thought I had done that, or if it did, it doesn't. We'll go through because again we want to make sure we go what's going through our minds and everything else. So here's my army construction. I'm going to go from left to right. The front unit up front is on the left. Those are my Grail Knights. Those are 3rd edition models with a couple of special edition models. I'm showing my age here. Behind them is a unit of 8 Knights of the Realm with a standard musician. I'm sorry, Grail Knights also have a standard champion, and the Knights of the Realm have a standard champion. Then you've got my characters up front. Mounted, I have a level 2 Heaven's Mage with the Tome of Arcane Knowledge, so she gets 3 spells, and she's got the Obsidian Pebble, so she's Magic Resistance 1. And then I've got my BSB, Sir William. He has the Sword of Heroes, he has the War Banner, and he has the Hardened Shield. And he also has Potion of Speed. Then I've got Duke Breslin, who's been my Duke for a long time. I've always called him that, other than Rockwolf. He is armed with the Dragon Lance. He's got the Dragon Helm. He has the Crystal Ball and the Lucky Charm. On foot, I have a Paladin, and he has the Beastbane Halberd and Mithril Mail.
Right?
Yeah, Mithril Mail.
Yeah.
And then I have a level 4 maid from Lore of Life, or Lore of Nature now, as it's called. She has
8th edition, blasphemy.
Please, pardon me. I'm sorry I'm not calling things by 3rd edition names. She has the Arcane Book of Power. She has the Scepter of Dominion. Mm-hmm. And she has Talisman of Roland. And that's all she's kitted out with, too. So she's still pretty kitted out. Behind them, behind the 2 fences, you'll actually see 2 units of archers. One has 11 archers, one has 10 archers. Nothing fancy to them. I have a trebuchet in the middle there, that big black mask, which hopefully will get painted over the next week or so. Those are my Knights of Forlorn. I have 18 Knights of Forlorn with full command. Up front, again, I have a unit of peasants. Sword and board, that's it. So I literally took all my old peasants, and I love how it looks actually, where it's just a mishmash. Some have spears, some has halberds, some have swords. To me, it looks really, really neat. And lastly, I have another unit of Knights of the Realm with, again, standard musician, 8 models. So Ryan's actually handed me my head a few different times, and I've been trying to tweak my Equitaine list, because going from 8th edition to this edition, I had more. I had more on the board, and I was able to feel more. I just wasn't feeling right. Like Ryan will attest, I would get not antsy or testy, but frustrated because of what's there, because I know how it's supposed to be doing and everything else. So this game, just with this army as it is, before we even set anything on the board, I felt so much more confident and better with this list because of what it has. Because I plan on flankers with the units. Can do a core set with the Knights of Forlorn and the unit of either Grail Knights or a unit of Knights of the Realm with the General and BSB. So options are there. I have my throwaway unit being the peasants, including the peasant archers. Trebuchets are trebuchets. I can't say enough about them. Ryan loves my trebuchets.
Oh, yeah.
And so let's go ahead and take a look at my opponent's list. Ryan, would you tell me what's going on with your list here?
Sure. So just to kind of set this up, Sir MC and I are actually training right now for a tournament at the end of June in New York.
Yeah, June 25th, 26th.
Yep, and it's called Judgment Day. So we're trying to come up with 2,400 lists for that. And like Mark was doing with his list, we're trying to different stuff out. I used a similar list that I'll talk about here in actually the online forum tournament, and it did well there. And I made a couple minor tweaks. I wanted to see how it would do and maybe take it to this upcoming tourney. So the Shrieking Horror, you can see big as life right there. Up front, I have my characters. I have a Vampire, BSB, level 2 Mage out of Necromancy. Both vampires are going out of Lamia. And he has the Mask of Innocence, which is the -1 leadership. And he has the Blessed Sword and the Talisman of Greater Shielding. It's the one that gives you a 5 ward save. And then I have my Necromancer in the middle, who's just a level 1 out of Necromancy, carrying a scroll. And then I have my General, who's a level 2 caster out of Necromancy, Lamia, Mask of Innocence, and he has the Obsidian Blade, the Talisman of Supreme Shielding, and Divine Icon. So he's pretty nasty in challenges because he has +1 to hit, and then you're not getting any armor saves from it, and you have to reroll ward saves. So that's kind of the thought behind that kit out. Behind them are 25 Barrel Guard. I just went sword and board with them, just fielding 5 wide, and I give them the banner of the barrows, what used to be the banner of the barrows. It's +1 for them to hit. Up front to the left is a unit of 5 mounted wraiths. I've got a couple units of wolves, you'll see, and then I have 2 units of 10 skirmishing ghouls, and they both have champions in those units. The 2 blocks towards the back, one is a unit of 34 skeletons with sword and board, and they have the war banner. And then I have 30 zombies with a banner and musician, and then I have 2 Varkaloks. The one is a proxied model because I'm still building the other one. And they both have the upgrade that gives them extra stops.
I love Varkaloks. I say that as sarcastically as humanly possible. If they give me angina half the time. So yeah, and Ryan and I have played each other's lists. Again, we're doing all these minor tweaks. So here we go. These are the spells I rolled for. So again, I have a level 4 and essentially a level 3, but only a +1 to cast. So I have Stone Skin, Oaken Throne, Summer Growth, Dwellers from Below, and of course Breath of Life. And my other mage has Blizzard, Stars Align, Curse of the Westerlies, and of course Second Seal. To me, I have good magic. I have +3 for my level 4. The other spells, if I'm within 12 inches, are castable, or even if I'm 24 inches. A 12 is doable. It's not great, but it's doable. My magic fails me. Just a little bit of foreshadowing. My magic fails me. I have nearly 500 points of magic, and it fails me this game. It was a fantastic game. Right?
Magic was crazy.
Yes.
That's for sure.
So that's your little bit of foreshadowing there. This is Ryan's list, and Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, pretty straightforward. All 3 wizards are going to take the signature spell for obvious reasons. It's just for consistency. It's Invocation of the Undead for those of you that don't know what it is, and it just raises wounds back to the unit, and that's just there for consistency. They're not particularly powerful on their own, but I'll always be guaranteed to essentially get one of those off if I need them. And then I have Dance Macabre, which gives rerolls to hit in close combat and gives an 8-inch magical move. And then I have Steel Youth, which is a nice remains in place spell that gets stronger over time, and it just breaks down units.
All right, so here's how the board looks. So we turn around, we roll the diagonal board. It's hold the ground, so there actually is a marker in... Oh, no, it isn't hold your ground. We both had to set up markers. And
Yes.
I've got one marker set up all the way back behind the zombies. The other one is over by the field there in the middle. I set up first, okay? I won... he picked the sides, and therefore I dropped everything. Because I actually take Virtue of the King, or whatever it's called, where I get a 5+ against Strength 5 or better. I think that's the better of the two. The reason why is more things have Strength 5 versus Armor Piercing, in my opinion. I could be wrong, I haven't done the math, but it's been working well for me thus far. And those things that also have armor piercing, also tend to have high strength 5 as well. So it works doubly there. So I place down first. I place everything all at once. I place my trebuchets all the way back so that they're back, they're kept safe, and I'm using the impassable piece of terrain between my archers, 2 night blocks, or 2 buses going there so he couldn't get his fast cap. That was my one worry, is that he was going to try to get his fast cap. So I am actually not set up on the line. I'm actually set up back off the line. Therefore, and because I had everything else set up, he could react. I put my Forlorn in the middle because at least they can take a charge, they can give a charge, they're going to hold. My BSB's in there, so I'm hoping to be able, or not my BSB, my level 4 mage, give him stone skin, regrow them as needed. She's got the scepter, and they also have the Omni banner in there, so well, first off, they ignore the fear, but they cause fear, and you don't get hold your ground against them. So it's a nasty little unit that's all strength 6. So then Ryan goes ahead and sets up, so if you don't mind.
Yeah, so like Mark said, he put everything down, so I was trying to react a little bit to how he deployed, and also I'm realizing that both objective markers on one side of the board, so I really have to solidify that side. So I put all my main blocks to the right, and then it's kind of just building my battle line around that. One of the games Mark and I played, the zombies, especially with this type of deployment, work really well holding a flank. So I put them all the way to the right, and then the Skellies and the Barrow Guard can take more of a hit, so they're kind of anchored in the middle there. And then I spread the Varkalox out because they're vampiric. They don't need to be near the general's leadership, and just hope that they can turn the corner on the flanks. I know the one on the left that's facing the impassable terrain and the ground lights, that's going to be a tough one. And I'm just hoping maybe to draw in those knights and maybe I can get a cheap charge off. And then the Shrieking Horrors over there too to help out. So that was just kind of my thoughts. And then I vanguarded the wolves up just to see how Mark would react. The ones on the right, if the knights charge in, I can countercharge with my blocks. And then in the middle, he could charge with either the peasants or the Knights of Forlorn, and again, it could give me some options in terms of if he fails, they can go around him, or I can countercharge there as well.
So turn 1 to Equitaine, because I actually won the roll-off. I saw the bait. I'm like, it's bait. I don't care. I've got archers. That's what they're there for. They're peasants. They're meant to die. Actually, no. I did try to charge. I failed charge. I tried. I needed like peasants. A 9. I tried to charge with my peasants. There in the middle that are kind of on the field there into the wolves. They failed. I didn't care. If you wanted to go ahead and charge my peasants, you could charge my peasants, but he's too far away. And that Shrieking Horror, I know it very, very well. I made sure I did measurements to make sure I stayed outside 24 inches from that thing. The Varkalax, going one-on-one with a bus, it's going to become a grind contest, and whether or not my armor decides to serve me well that game or not. But having a 5-up, 5-up, I didn't mind the odds, and having the Ground Knights turn around and swing first, I didn't mind that odds, but again, they have that 4-up save because of regeneration. So first thing, I get Dwellers to go off during my magic phase, and I killed a bunch of Skellies. That's all I can say. I killed at over 10 Skellies with that spell, which was Ryan rolled very well with that, but I still killed at least a third. It was under half, but over a third of the unit. And then I went and did the Oaken Throne. However, I rolled a miscast, and the Oaken Throne doesn't give you any benefit unless you on the spell that when you cast actually Oaken Throne. So I killed 4 of my Knights of Forlorn, did a wound to my mage. I can get the wounds back. I'm not worried about it. She's got Summer's Regrowth, and that's going off on a D6. And that was it. Ryan didn't try to stop that one.
The beginning of crazy magic.
Yep. That was our first of many miscasts. So over here, we're going shooting. My archers, I had angry peasants this game. So my peasants turn around. This time they weren't angry yet. They were working up their getting fired up. Managed to kill 1 wolf there with that unit behind the fence. And that is a hit from a trebuchet, killing 5 of the barrel guard. And then the other one misfired, killing one of the guys. So actually they have 4, but I had already taken one away, so I just knocked one over for the picture. And now it's Ryan's turn. And from what I remember, he was chaffing me up. And he was definitely trying to chaff me up with the dogs. So at this point, explain your tactic.
Yeah, so I moved the wolves, as you can see, all the way to the right just to chaff up the knights so that basically he can't march them wherever he wants. He either has to back them up or charge, and then I can countercharge. And I set the Varkalok up that if I countercharge, he could come in also on the flank. So just trying to set something up there. And then I put the other wolves in front of the peasants, again, just to try to chaff them up. And I moved the mounted wraiths up, hoping that they could charge the peasants, and maybe they'll fail the terror check, or I come in and I'll win. They'll be steadfast, but it'll be at a -1, and they'll just break, and I could overrun and do something with them. Otherwise, everything kind of just shifted around. I moved the one Varkalok over because I'm just like, yeah, he's got the charge advantage on me, and even if I charge in just face-to-face and I get a long charge off, I probably won't break them. So I figured he's better off in the center for now, and I'm starting to move the ghouls up. And if I can get them in the woods, because they skirmish, they're stubborn, so maybe that could be something. And then the Shrieking Horror, I just moved towards the center to get closer, especially to my magic, because I figured Mark might be shooting some rocks at it, and I'll need to heal it at some point. And then everything was just set up to get a good first round of magic in. So we'll see how that went.
So here's another lovely miscast for Invocation of Undead. He rolls 2 dice. That's all he rolls, and I'm like, sure, go ahead, have it. He raises up 9 of the skeletons.
No, 6.
6. Okay, that's right.
Yeah,
total.
that's why I put that die there.
All right, he only raised up 6 of the skeletons to roll 3, and this was from your Necromancer, I believe.
Yes.
So why don't you go ahead and...
Yeah, first spell of the game, I'm just trying to draw dice. I'm trying to make the skeleton unit bigger than its starting size, which I can only do with the Necromancer. And it's pretty important to get them to 40 or above 40 is a big deal, so I was trying to do that. And he miscast, and it was like, I rolled for the miscast, and it was only 2 dice, so I know he's not going to get sucked into the warp or anything, but I rolled like the worst possible thing. And
11.
I rolled an 11. So he lost the only wizard level he had, and he lost the only spell he had. So, turn 1, first spell, he's no longer essentially a wizard, he's just there to scroll caddy and to channel. And I lost a couple dice. But I think I rolled pretty high for magic, so I still had dice left. And then I rolled another invocation, and I miscast again.
Yep, and this was on the Barrow Guard, so... And this time you brought back 3. You brought back essentially 6 because it was D3 plus 3 on the Barrow Guard.
Yeah, I bought back the 5 that had died or whatever from the trebuchet, and I rolled again. It was I think 3 dice. I rolled an extra die for this one, but yeah. So nothing. I don't think anything of note happened with that one, but it was just like, okay, that's the end of magic.
And
it was a bubble spell, so I got
7. You got 10 zombies back.
Yeah.
Sorry for the blurry picture. And that it was a spell. I see the die down at the bottom, and I don't remember what happened. Oh, look, another invocation. There's a shocker. And that just brought everything back to where it belonged. So here we are. It's now start of turn 2. I didn't charge the ghouls with the ground knights. I believe they were too far back then, so I just moved most things up. I charged in with the peasants because they're 20 strong. They're wolves. Go peasants! Be angry. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit them. They're going to overrun into the other block of wolves. Go ahead, hit me in the flank. I'll have rings. I'll get wounds from the hounds.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not going to charge in your Varkalok into the peasants. You're not going to charge the unit of knights with just the Varkalok. I'm sitting okay. I back them up to give myself options to try to either go around the wolves or to go after the zombies or anything else. Because again, that's got my Oh, I also have Virtue of Daring. My Duke has Virtue of Might, so for every wound he does, he gains an additional attack.
Blender Lord.
And my Paladin on foot in the Knights of Forlorn have Virtue of Piety? Piety? P-E-I-T-Y?
Piety.
Piety.
Yeah.
To make the Forlorns 5+, plus the Talisman of Rolling, so it's 4+ against shooting, non-magical, and they have 4 up against magic. So that was my train of thought. I just backed everything up, and hopefully my magic and shooting would serve me well. So this was not magic. Magic failed me this turn. This is straight up shooting. So throughout the game, I'm screaming, Trebuchet! This time I killed another 2, 4, 6, 8 Barrow Guard. Pretty happy about that. It was a good shot by the Trebuchet. He definitely made, I think he made at least 3 armor saves that turn, needing 6s.
Yeah, that was even with good armor saves, so otherwise I would have lost like almost half the unit on that one shot.
Over here, I killed 1. The Trebuchet drifted off and killed one of the skeletons. And then close combat, my archers didn't do anything. They weren't angry yet. So here I had angry archers. They turned around, they killed the 3 wolves, but took 2 wounds themselves. All right, boys, run forward. Get the next set of wolves. I had to roll 3. I rolled snake eyes. So where you see them is where they ended up. And I'm going, I can't believe this. My dice hate me right now. Because right now I see him chaffing up my knights again. I see the Barrow Guard, or the Hex Wraiths, or whatever they're called now, the Wraiths coming in, swinging their scythes and just doing damage, or doing the run-through attack, which is what I thought you were going to do, was the run-through attack. So here we are, Undead turn 2. Here's how the board looks. So he charged in to my peasants. He did chaff up my knights. And that was all that I remember. Go ahead.
Yeah, so inevitably it's like my complete surprise, the wolves live, so I just chaffed up the knights again. And then the reason I charged the peasants with the mounted wraiths instead of just moving through them is because I didn't have enough movement to really get out of charge range of the Knights of Forlorn. And they have a character in there that has like the Beastbane Halberd, so he has magic attacks. So between the static res and him going, they would have just died. Whereas if I charge the peasants, that's a long charge for him to clip me. And after the combat, I can move over so that he can't fit in there. So that was my reasoning. Peasants didn't care though. They passed terror, and I got in there. And then everything else, I'm starting to march up the zombies because I'm now hoping that I can just hold up his general's unit, because he has his general, his BSB in there. On the charge, they're just going to be devastating, so I'm trying to get the zombies to do what they do best. And I'm not going to charge the Varkalok in. He's just going to die on his own. So I'm just moving him around the unit to give him options for future charges, or to maybe even go after the war machines. Skeletons move up. Barrow Guard shift over a little bit. I need to heal them. And then I move the Varkalok and the Shrieking Horror back, and the ghouls into the woods, hoping the Grail Knights go in, maybe they lose 1 or 2 from dangerous terrain. The ghouls will probably still die, even with Stubborn, but then I can countercharge with the Varkalok and the Shrieking Horror if I need to. And then the ghouls in the middle are just moving up just because they were in no man's land, and I needed them to start doing something. So that was pretty much it.
I want everyone to please take note of the little white mass all the way in the back behind the ghouls.
That's right.
That is where his necromancer, his useless necromancer, except it has a dispel scroll.
That's right. I forgot about that. I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah, you did. I do. Yeah.
So yeah, my necromancer, I was like, that necromancer is 100 points, which is almost the entire unit of zombies. So I'm like, I'm not going to get him killed cheaply. He'll just step out of the unit and just kind of hang back there.
So, let's see. Magic. I think you just healed some more of your undead there.
Yeah.
And then you cast Skill Youth on my unit of Forlorn.
Which did nothing.
Yeah, I'm not worried.
Not
this turn. I'm not worried about that spell because again, it's I have a 4-up ward save against magic for everyone in that unit because of magic resistance 1. So first he needs to roll 6. Then he needs to turn around and actually fail my ward save. And it's only 1 wound. So here's a close combat because he doesn't have anything to shoot. He kills 1. Repeat, 1 of my guys. So he has charge, wound. I have 2 ranks. So we're static there. So now it's Equitaine turn 3. Actually, I guess I did take a picture of the boards. So what I did here is I charged the wolves with my Duke and his unit because I saw where the zombies were, and to me, it looked pretty good to try to get that charge off. I could turn around, get in there, and do lots of damage, and I did check his skeletons weren't going to fit between the wraiths and the zombies.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I have 2, 3 turns tops, and nothing else. The zombies are just going to sit there and help me get up combat points. So even if he charges my flank, I'll win probably the combat because I'll be killing nothing but zombies, and then I'll reform, and then it'd be toe-to-toe at that point. I did charge the ghouls in the wood, but not the way he thought. I charged them with my 1 unit with my mage in it, the Knights of the Realm. Problem is as you can see, there's a knight missing. Terrain and I, we don't do well with one another, and I lost a knight. All I had to do was I did 2 dice or 3 dice, and I failed 1 of them, and I failed my ward save. I think I failed 2. No, I failed 2.
And you made
I made 1 ward save, and the other one just flat out died. I rolled a 6. So that's how that looks. I'm not worried about the peasants going anywhere currently. And there's the dead knight over by the trebuchet. So I do Summer's Growth. I put the knight right back to where it was. I heal the wound on my mage. And I actually try at that point to get rid of Steel Youth, and I fail. All I needed was a 7. I rolled 2 dice, and I failed. I think I rolled a 4. Okay, 4 on dice, and all I had to do was roll a 7. I had to roll average. So that ended up killing 2 from the unit that turn. And trebuchets. Here they are.
Stupid trebuchets.
The trebuchet strike once again. That killed another 2 for about 8 from that unit, or 6 from that unit. That killed more than that. It killed about 8 from that unit.
Yeah.
And then the other one misfired, so as you can see, Betsy is now facing the wrong way. And close combats are going on. Oh, I'm sorry. So then comes the archers. Archers still had to fire. Again, I keep saying angry peasants. My peasants killed 3 of the barrow guard. They were angry that turn. Close combat, nothing happened here. There's a shocker. He actually killed 4 of my peasants, but again, steadfast, so I'm not going anywhere. Over there, I killed the wolves without any. I didn't even roll. You didn't even have me roll. He just picked them up.
Yeah, that would have been a waste of time.
And let's see. That's that. My knights are all the way over there. After they killed the ghouls in the woods with combat res and everything else, so stubborn didn't make a difference, or steadfast didn't make a difference.
No, they killed just what they needed to crumble the unit.
Yep, and then that's it. So now here's where I missed taking a picture of movement. He gets his magic off as he moves everything up. He gets Dance Macabre off, which allows him to reroll to hit, and that'll come back and bites me. I think I did try to stop that and failed.
Yeah. Again, magic was very inconsistent and crazy this game.
It hated me, but I have no complaints. Other things liked me. But he rolled another miscast, killing
3rd miscast, guys.
Yeah, that's fourth of the game. But another miscast, and that's killed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of his skeletons, and did a wound actually to his caster as well. So now we're into close combat. Turns around, kills 3, 6 of my models because of that spell. Originally, he actually only would have killed 2 of them, but he got to reroll his hits. And if he had only killed 2, I still would have been steadfast. But again, so he turned around, he did that. I did a wound.
I didn't remember you doing a wound.
I think he just fell down.
Maybe.
Yeah, no, that's just me pulling him back. And so I picked him up because he caught me from when they ran away. I want to say that's a trebuchet shot. Hold on one second. Yeah, as I said, I think we started getting a little punchy or quick with our game at that point, and this is actually some shooting. So that was actually one trebuchet. This was an archer that turned around and killed one of his barrel guard. So I do apologize for not having the interim pictures. And he had tried to charge my Grail Knights that turn previous,
Yeah, I needed a 10.
and he failed. And I've seen Ryan make those charges a lot. So with that failure, I countercharged in with my Grail Knights. He killed one Grail Knight. After I did a total of 8 wounds, he saves all but 3 of them. But due to combat res, he crumbles.
Yeah.
So he was killed right from there. And over here,
I pursued too far. I think I rolled like 11 or 12 trying to catch the peasants, and I needed to roll a little less to keep them in the front. And now,
so it allowed me to turn around and get the flank charge with that beat up unit who hasn't seen combat yet, but it's still a beat up unit of Forlorn, and the paladin actually just killed 3, and then due to combat res, he just picked him up. I think you failed to wound.
I did 1 wound to your mage.
Did 1 wound to my mage.
Yeah.
And that's it. So that would be... So again, as I said, I overran the dogs into his zombies that had nothing in it. So I turn around, I blew up half the unit the first turn, and then this was my turn. Was this my turn? Yeah, this was my turn. And I blew up the rest of the unit of zombies. And because of where my center is and his line, I actually am able to position the knights so he can't charge me the following turn. Over here, he turned around. So we're into Ryan's turn. He flew that thing because, again, I ate the Varkaloff, and it still was the smart play. It was the right thing to do to eat the Varkaloff. I hate automatic hits. This thing eats Grail Knights for lunch. Literally. And it screamed at me and did 5... Yeah.
It killed 4.
Killed 4.
Killed 4 knights.
Killed 4 Grail Knights right off the bat. And he had charged my peasants even with the wall and killed 4 of them. And I killed 1 of his, but they're going to flee. And he had charged his Varkalok into my 1 trebuchet. Easily ate the trebuchet. But because during my turn... During remaining moves, I actually moved the other trebuchet further away. He couldn't just hit one and then roll into the other one. So he chose to stay where they were. And I got very lucky with my peasants where they did not hit the Varkalak and run through it. And that's just kind of where we are. So now we're at turn 5. And that is there because I have the 2 things. So my knights... He actually did charge, and we missed this earlier from one of the earlier picks. He charged my units in Knights of the Realm, and they ran away. And they bumped through dangerous terrain tests. I rolled very, very luckily and made all my dangerous terrain tests. So this time, I'm running through a field. So this time, I only need once. I killed 2 of my knights. Again, terrain and I, we don't get along. So kill the knights, and I chose to charge the ghouls rather than the Varkalok, because the Varkalok was a further charge than the ghouls, and the ghouls were automatic in, and I could charge them, and by moving them there, I could hopefully rally the peasants, which was actually part of my idea, because my peasants will use my knight's leadership. I charged in with the 2 remaining Grail Knights, and that thing ate me. It turned around, screamed into combat, and killed my 2 knights, and my knights only did 1 wound. Actually did 2 wounds, he rolled a 6 on one of his saves. So there's where the knights get in, and he did nothing to me, and they ate that entire unit in the flank. So over here, we kind of skipped a picture of that entire combat.
So there was actually a picture earlier of like my skeletons that were once there, standing in front of the unit, because I just had to reform my skeletons, otherwise he was going to charge me in the flank, and I figured. Yeah, he'll charge me in the front, but I should still be able to hold him for a turn. And Mark just went off in combat. I mean, I knew he was going to do a lot, but he rolled even high, just statistically. I challenged with my BSB, hoping that Breslin would take it, because I honestly didn't care if he killed my BSB. as long as all that combat res wasn't going on the unit, and he smartly gave me the champion. So guys, Vampire gets 3 wounds with his 3 attacks, which is fine, because he was hitting on 2s and re-rolling to wound. And Mark was at a -2 armor save, made 2 armor saves, and then he made his ward save, had to re-roll it, made the ward save again. So the Vampire couldn't even kill the champ, and the skeletons did nothing. And he used like his flame weapon, his Blender Lord like killed like 8 guys just by himself. And then the BSB killed a couple guys, and the Knights I think only like missed with 2 attacks total. They got like 6 or 7 wounds off.
My BSB only did 1 wound. My Breslin, my Blender Lord, did 3 wounds normally, where he should have done 8, 7, 8 wounds. He only did 3, so I had to use my breath weapon that killed the other 4 or 5 models.
Yeah, so still a lot of damage, and I missed holding him up by 1 wound. If I had done 1 more wound, I would have had just the BSB holding them up with 1 wound left, but they just crumbled completely.
And if you see the Paladin sitting there, he was actually in the Knights of Forlorn during Ryan's phase, and I apologize that I failed to take a picture of it, and I will do a better job for the next battle report. He actually turns around and gets the Dance Macabre off on his Barrow Guard and moves them up to 1 inch right in front of my unit of Knights of Forlorn.
Yep.
You wanted me to charge you.
Yeah.
And I'm going, no. I just don't like the odds because it had too many points in that unit. It's the Barrow Guard, it has his general. So I charged my Paladin out and I moved my Mage out of the unit. I moved the Mage closer to the Grail Knights because I was hoping to get Summer Growth on my Grail Knights. And I think he did use his scroll on that.
No, I didn't. You failed to get it off. Mark had another. So Mark had rolled a 4 for this magic phase. This is turn 5, guys. And he's just trying to desperately save those 2 Grail Knights with like Summer Growth or Stone Skin or something like that. And yeah, he failed to get the first spell off, and then like he only had 1 die left, and he just couldn't do anything with it. So my Necromancer, who's still sitting like at the corner of the board of the battlefield, is just hanging on to his scroll for like a key turn 6 spell.
So that's what's going on there, and so that's why that model's out there. So here's the end of turn 5. So it's now Ryan's turn 5 at this point in time. So, as I said, there's his Varkalok, who he moved up. He took his Shrieking Horror, moved it closer to the Mage. He charged in what's left of the Knights of Forlorn, and that's it. Because I'm staring down at his Barrow Guard at that point in time. And he gave himself plenty of options there. And I had rallied my archers after being defeated by the ghouls last
Stupid
turn.
archers. Stupid
no,
peasants.
No, Robin Hood's in that unit. So, here we go. Shooting magic. I think you failed, or...
Magic, I only rolled 2 dice.
Yes.
This turn, and...
no, you did get it off.
I got... I forget what spell I got off this turn. I think I got... I don't even know.
I think you got the Macabre.
Yeah, I think I gave... Yeah, I think Mark's right. I think I gave Dance Macabre back to the Barrow Guard, so they're rerolling hits in combat.
So he moves up his Shrieking Horror. He obliterates my Mage, which we're having a conversation after the game. And I go, wait a minute, my Mage should have lived. She would have had a 4-up. And I go, crap, no, it's magical shooting. Because that thing is, of course, it's a flying vampire, gigantic screeching bat. It has magical shots. Turns around, obliterates my level 4 Mage. And obliterates all but 3 of my Knights of Forlorn, but he only does 2, 4, 6, 8 wounds. So I'm actually pretty happy with the fact I still have some of that unit, and that's just the base unit left. And there's your Dance Macabre.
Yep.
And with what he has left. But again, they're going to auto break, so they flee. That's why you see them getting closer to the board. So this is now the end of movement phase of turn 6, even though the dice back there says 5. I actually rally with my 3 Knights of Forlorn, so I'm going to get points for them. I moved up my Knights. I ran my archers because because they're serfs, so they get an extra movement, +1 to movement. So they ran 10 inches and parked themselves 1 inch away from that Varkalak, so he couldn't charge the trebuchet. He had to charge the peasants, and that was it. I didn't really have anything else. I charged in with the lone character and the unit of knights right into the barrow guard. And this is the aftermath. So he turns around, he issues a challenge with his general.
Yeah.
He issues a challenge with his general, and I chose not to go with Breslin because I figure he'd be hitting me on what's his weapon skill?
His weapon skill's 7, so he'd be hitting me on threes.
So he's going to be hitting me on threes. He'd be wounding me on threes. I have no armor save, and I would have to reroll my ward save. I only have a 5-up ward save. I didn't like the odds because he took away my armor. So hey, champion, go prove yourself. Except with my champion, he does 2 wounds to my champion. And meanwhile, Breslin turns around and does all that. Does 2, 4, 6, 7 wounds. My BSB does another 2 wounds before he dies. And then the rest of the unit just stomped, just absolutely stomped. I think you actually may have taken some models away at that point before, because you used to have 15 models there.
Yeah, this was another combat where this unit, I mean, they were going to do a lot of damage anyway, and they rolled higher than what was expected again. And again, it was 1 wound difference that the whole unit crumbled, and I didn't have my general there just holding them up.
Because it had bodyguard, so...
Yeah, it had bodyguard, and, I have a banner in there, and the barrel guard did, lethal strike the BSB, so they got 2 wounds there. My general had a couple wounds, and then I was just hoping the general could challenge out and, maybe kill his general, but just couldn't hold up this game. Those trebuchets just keep hit my units, 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And even with growing stuff back, I just had a few models short of where I wanted them to be, and actually end up making a difference in the end.
So that's it. He does his tests on everything, but he doesn't have much left. All he has left is the Varkalak and the Shrieking Horror. So when the Shrieking Horror has 1 wound on it, he does another 3 wounds to the Shrieking Horror, and the Varkalak, which is vampiric, has nothing done to it. So now it's his turn 6. Here's the way the board looks. So you see he charges into the flank of the peasants. And I'm going, that's okay. They're peasants. They're meant to die. His Varkalak could charge into the knights, or he could charge the 1 lone gunman, or he could fly away and try to shriek them. But you only had 2 shrieks, so odds were not likely that you were going to actually kill what you needed for points. So he actually charges into the lone gunman there. And my peasants just don't care. And
the funny thing was, at the top of the turn, Necromancer did use the scroll. So
yeah, because I went to get Stars Align on the big unit on the charge, and that's when you use the scroll.
Yeah, so I did use the scroll at a key moment. It just didn't work out. And then the funny thing was that my general died, the Necro took over this turn. So at least the Shrieking Heart didn't have to test again. Just the 1 time. So he was alive, as alive as an undead thing can be. And he had 2 wounds left, so he only gets 2 shots. And I'm like, if I'm in a tournament, maybe I just do the conservative play and I just shriek at the guy and hope I get lucky. But in a casual game, I'm like, why don't I got to get points. So let me charge him in and hopefully with Thunderstomp kill him and just hope he whiffs and doesn't wound me. And then... we don't have a picture of it, but the Varkalak goes in the flank. He's going to kill all but 1 of those stupid peasants, and he chases them, and he can't catch the last peasant.
Yep.
So, guys, those peasants have, totally ruined me this game. And then we'll get into the last combat. Shrieking Horror goes in.
So, but because I'm initiative 5, and I've got the Beastman, so he's got my flank. He's got... 4 attacks, 5 attacks with that thing normally?
Yeah, so I would probably do just the 2 shrieks because they auto hit, and then I would do Thunderstomps.
Yeah. So I have to try to wound him. Now, again, I have the Beastbane Halberd, so it's a monster. I have multi-wound MW2, So this is what happens. I turn around, I just do single wound. I hit with all three, I think.
Yeah, you hit with all 3 attacks. I was hoping you'd miss with one, but you
And-
got the one wound you needed to, and I couldn't regen
and
it.
he couldn't regen it, and that was it. So overall result, it was a massacre for Knights of Equitaine, 20-0. It was such a very fun game. It was one of the most fun with Equitaine I've had since Ninth Age came out. I can't say enough about it. It's definitely the build and trying to learn the tweaks that they've done to the army, because it hasn't been much, but it's been enough to throw me off, and I'm a very, very experienced player with this, and just it was a blast. So here are our MVPs. Ryan and I both discussed it. For Knights of Equitaine, Duke Breslin. He ate the zombies. He ate the skeletons. He ate the Barrow Guard.
Just the combat res
Yeah.
was what did it. Because if he wasn't in that unit would have been held up
Oh, easily.
against any of those units. And he did just enough to crumble, really, the skeletons and the Barrow Guard.
Yep. And for the vampires, the Shrieking Horror. The Shrieking Horror killed my Grail Knight, so that's 262 points. He killed my level 4 mage. That's another 325 points. And he was going for the trifecta there, trying to kill the paladin, which would have been another 140 points. But again, this was it was a great game. It was a fun game. And that's it. So if you see anything that we've done incorrectly or in comments, please let us know. Greatly appreciate it. And you want to see both Ryan and I, Dave and Dan, hopefully posting more of our battle reports online. So thank you and have a wonderful day.
See you guys.